The American Civil War was a crucible. It forged a new nation from the fires of conflict. We often hear of generals and grand battles. We know the names of presidents and statesmen. But history is more than just the bold headlines. It is also found in the quiet whispers, the unseen actions. This was a war that touched every corner of society. It drew in people from all walks of life. Many of these individuals were not traditional soldiers. They were women, African Americans, enslaved people seeking freedom. They were spies hidden in plain sight. They were nurses tending to the unimaginable horrors of war. Their stories are threads woven into the larger tapestry of the conflict. Without these threads, the picture is incomplete. Their bravery and sacrifice helped to shape the outcome of the war. They also helped to redefine what it meant to be an American. A secret message delivered, a wounded soldier saved, a daring raid led. These acts, often performed at great personal risk, rippled outwards. They influenced strategies, bolstered morale, and chipped away at the foundations of an unjust system. Understanding their contributions is essential. Harriet Tubman is a name many know. She is celebrated for her work on the Underground Railroad. She was a conductor, guiding enslaved people to freedom. Her courage was legendary. She risked her own life countless times. She journeyed into the slave-holding South again and again. She brought hundreds to liberty in the North. But her role in the Civil War itself is less widely understood. During the war, Tubman offered her services to the Union Army. She worked as a nurse, tending to black soldiers. She also served as a scout and a spy. Her knowledge of the Southern terrain was invaluable. Her network of contacts provided crucial intelligence. Her most famous military action was the Combahee River Raid in June 1863. Tubman helped to plan and lead this daring expedition in South Carolina. Under Tubman's guidance, the mission was a stunning success. More than 750 enslaved people were freed. Harriet Tubman was not just a participant, she was a leader. She was a true warrior for freedom, on and off the battlefield. Richmond, Virginia was the heart of the Confederacy. It was the capital city, bustling with officials and military leaders. Information was a precious commodity. Knowing the enemy's plans could mean the difference between victory and defeat. Within this vital center of power, a network of Union spies operated. They risked everything to gather intelligence. Among the most effective were Elizabeth Van Lew and Mary Bowser. Elizabeth Van Lew was a Richmond socialite. She came from a prominent family. She openly expressed Unionist sympathies, which was dangerous. Yet, she used her social standing as a cover. She visited Confederate prisoners, bringing them food and aid. She also gathered information from them. She developed a sophisticated spy ring. One of Van Lew's most valuable agents was Mary Bowser. Bowser was a formerly enslaved woman. With Van Lew's help, she secured a position as a servant in the Confederate White House. She had unparalleled access to sensitive information. The intelligence provided by Van Lew and Bowser was highly valued. Their quiet courage in the enemy's capital was extraordinary. The Civil War was overwhelmingly a man's fight, or so the official records suggest. Women were expected to remain on the home front, yet a surprising number of women defied these expectations. They disguised themselves as men and enlisted in the army. They fought on the front lines. They endured the same hardships and dangers as their male comrades. Sarah Emma Edmonds was one such woman. She adopted the male persona of Franklin Thompson. Under this guise, she enlisted in the 2nd Michigan Infantry. She served for nearly 2 years. She participated in several major battles, including Bull Run and Antietam. She even worked as a Union spy. Another notable figure was Loretta Janetta Velasquez. She claimed to have served as a Confederate officer under the name Harry T. Buford. These women faced immense risks. Discovery meant not only discharge but also public shame and ridicule. Estimates vary, but it is believed that hundreds of women fought in disguise. Their presence challenges our traditional understanding of the Civil War soldier. They were soldiers in every sense of the word. The battlefields of the Civil War were scenes of unimaginable carnage. Medical knowledge at the time was limited. Infection was rampant. Amputation was often the only solution for a wounded limb. In this grim landscape, courageous individuals stepped forward. They worked to alleviate suffering and improve care for the wounded. Many of these pioneers were women. Clara Barton is perhaps the most famous of these figures. At the start of the war, she was a clerk in the United States Patent Office. Horrified by the suffering of wounded soldiers, she took action. She began by collecting and distributing supplies. She insisted on going to the front lines. She earned the name Angel of the Battlefield for her tireless work. Dr. Mary Edwards Walker was another groundbreaking figure. She was one of the few female physicians in the country. She volunteered her services to the Union Army. Eventually, she became the first female United States Army surgeon. These women faced resistance and prejudice. Yet Barton, Walker, and their colleagues proved them wrong. Their dedication saved lives and transformed medical care in wartime. The Civil War began as a war to preserve the Union. It was not initially a war to end slavery, but as the conflict progressed, this began to change. The enlistment of African American soldiers was a pivotal moment. It transformed the nature of the war. It also offered black men a chance to fight for their own freedom. Initially, the Union Army was reluctant to accept black soldiers. There were fears about how white soldiers would react. There were doubts about their fighting ability. In 1862, Congress authorized the enlistment of black men. The 54th Massachusetts Infantry Regiment is one of the most famous USCT units. It was composed mainly of free black men from the North. It was commanded by white officers including Colonel Robert Gould Shaw. The 54th gained renown for its courageous assault on Fort Wagner in South Carolina in July 1863. Though the attack was ultimately unsuccessful, the bravery of the black soldiers was undeniable. Despite facing discrimination, nearly 200,000 African American men served in the Union Army and Navy. Their contributions were crucial to the Union victory. They helped to change the course of the war and the nation. Among the many remarkable stories of African Americans during the Civil War, that of Robert Smalls stands out. His tale is one of audacious courage and skilled seamanship. Smalls was born into slavery in Beaufort, South Carolina. He worked on the Charleston docks and became an expert pilot. In May 1862, Smalls was working as a pilot on the CSS Planter. This was a Confederate armed transport ship. One night, whilst the white officers were ashore, Smalls put his plan into action. He gathered his family and several other enslaved people. He disguised himself by wearing the captain's hat and coat. Under the cover of darkness, he navigated the Planter out of Charleston Harbor. He sailed past Confederate forts, giving the correct signals. He then steered the ship towards the Union naval blockade. He surrendered the Planter to the Union fleet. The capture of the Planter was a significant event. Smalls brought with him crucial information about Confederate defenses. Smalls continued to serve the Union cause throughout the war. After the war, Smalls became a successful businessman and a prominent politician. He was a true American hero. The fight against slavery was not confined to battlefields. It was also waged by dedicated abolitionists, and crucially, by enslaved people themselves. The Women's Loyal National League, founded by Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony, played an important role. They collected hundreds of thousands of signatures on petitions. These petitions called for a constitutional amendment to abolish slavery. The concept of contraband was also significant. Early in the war, some Union generals began to refuse to return runaway slaves to their Confederate owners. General Benjamin Butler declared them contraband of war. This policy provided a pathway to freedom for many enslaved people. They flocked to Union lines seeking protection and liberty. These self-liberated individuals often provided valuable labor and intelligence to the Union Army. Their presence in Union camps forced the government to confront the issue of slavery more directly. The efforts of abolitionists and self-liberators created a powerful momentum. The Emancipation Proclamation, issued in 1863, was a direct result of these pressures. It transformed the war into a fight for human liberation. The voices and actions of these hidden figures were instrumental in this transformation. The Civil War reshaped America. It ended slavery and preserved the Union, but the popular narrative often focuses on a few prominent figures. The stories of the unsung heroes are equally important. Women, African Americans, spies, and self-liberators played vital roles. Their contributions influenced military strategies. They revolutionized medical practices. They bolstered morale and changed the very nature of the conflict. Their courage and resilience deserve to be remembered and celebrated. They were not passive bystanders. They were active agents of change. Harriet Tubman's leadership in the Combahee River Raid showed the military capabilities of African Americans. Spies like Elizabeth Van Lew and Mary Bowser provided critical intelligence that saved lives. Women disguised as soldiers, such as Sarah Emma Edmonds, challenged gender norms and proved their mettle in battle. Medical pioneers like Clara Barton and Dr. Mary Edwards Walker transformed care for the wounded. The soldiers of the United States Colored Troops fought bravely for their own freedom. Robert Smalls's daring escape and service inspired many. These stories are essential to understanding the full complexity of American history. By uncovering these hidden narratives, we gain a richer, more nuanced understanding of the past. Their echoes resonate still, reminding us of the enduring power of courage, determination, and the pursuit of justice.